U.S. President Donald Trump has accused China of attempting to meddle in the November 6th U.S. congressional election, saying Beijing did not want his Republican Party to do well because of his pugnacious stance on trade. Trump did not provide any evidence for his allegation. Trump himself is not up for re-election until 2020, but November's voting will decide whether his Republican Party can keep control of the U.S. House of Representatives and the Senate. U.S. President Donald Trump said he rejected Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's request for a meeting during the UN General Assembly this week because bilateral North American Free Trade Agreement talks are going poorly and the United States is unhappy with Canada's negotiators. Trump also said that the United States was more than willing to slap tariffs on Canadian auto imports if Canada did not accept to his demands to reduce tariffs on U.S. dairy. A third woman stepped forward to accuse Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct. In a sworn affidavit, Julie Swetnick alleged that Judge Kavanaugh was involved in the drugging and sexual assault of girls at house parties in the 1980s. Brett Kavanaugh has dismissed a third woman's accusation against him of misconduct as ridiculous. The new claim, which is being investigated by the Senate, alleges Judge Kavanaugh committed serious sexual assault in high school. U.S. President Donald Trump said that he could change his mind about Brett Kavanaugh and withdraw his nomination for the Supreme Court based on upcoming testimony about alleged sexual misconduct. Christine Blasey Ford, who has accused Kavanaugh of a sexual assault in 1982, is scheduled to testify before lawmakers today in Washington. Trump also said he could not tell if Dr. Christine Blasey Ford and the two other women who have come forward to allege sexual misconduct against Kavanaugh were lying because he hasn't seen them give their accounts in person. U.S. First Lady Melania Trump announced that she would visit Ghana, Malawi, Kenya and Egypt on her first major international solo trip to promote child welfare and education. Melania Trump made the announcement at a reception welcoming partners of visiting heads of state and other foreign delegations on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. The U.S. First Lady rolled out her signature awareness campaign, Be Best, to help children earlier this year. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will travel again to North Korea to meet with senior leaders there in preparation for a second summit between President Donald Trump and North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un. The State Department announced U.S. Secretary of State Pompeo's planned trip after the American diplomat met with North Korea's Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho on the sidelines of this week's UN General Assembly session. Pompeo's visit to Pyongyang next month will be his fourth visit this year. The U.S. Federal Reserve has raised short-term interest rates for the third time this year. The central bank boosted the lending rate from 2% to 2.25%, a quarter-point increase in the target range. The policy-setting board also removed the word accommodative from its statement to describe the position on interest rates. The Fed has now raised the key rate 8 times since late 2015, with one more expected in the final meeting of the year in December. Russia's parliament unanimously approved President Vladimir Putin's amendments to a deeply unpopular pension reform plan that has led to a rare outburst of public anger in the country. Parliament's lower house, the State Duma, approved Putin's proposal to soften the reform, raising the state pension age for women by 5 years to 60 instead of 8 years to 63. Bangladesh's leader accused neighbouring country Myanmar of finding new excuses to delay the return of more than 7 lakh Rohingya who were forced across the border over the past year. Sheikh Hasina also said that under no circumstances would the refugees remain permanently in her already crowded country. The Prime Minister, who faces a national election in December, said she does not want to pick a fight with Myanmar over the refugees. Macedonian Prime Minister Zoran Zaev has promised his supporters that the naming agreement with Greece will open the doors to NATO and EU membership for the country and build friendship with Greece. Skopje and Athens struck the landmark deal to end a row over the name Macedonia in June. Under the agreement, the former Yugoslav Republic will be renamed the Republic of Northern Macedonia to differentiate itself from the northern Greek province of Macedonia. The referendum will take place on Sunday, that is September 30th. Thousands of Palestinians rallied near a crossing point between the enclave and Israel, demanding an end to a decade-long Israeli-Egyptian blockade. Palestinians burnt tires and hurled rocks at Israeli forces stationed nearby. Gazans have staged near weekly demonstrations along the border with Israel since late March, in part to protest the blockade enforced by Israel and Egypt since 2007, when the militant group Hamas seized the territory. Hundreds of pensioners gathered to protest outside the Spanish Parliament in Madrid, calling for state pensions to be linked to an inflation index. Protesters carried placards demanding dignified pensions and calling politicians thieves. The protest blocked the main road outside Parliament, which was in session at the time of the protest. At least 23 people were killed and over 15 injured in Peru after a bus plunged into a river in southeastern Peru. The bus hurtled about 100 meters into the ravine in the mountainous southern portion of the country. Peru has a high rate of bus accidents. In January, it recorded the deadliest crash in 4 decades when 52 people were killed as a bus plunged down a steep slope near the capital of Lima. Mexican President-elect Andrés Manuel López Obrador promised the parents of 43 students who went missing in 2014 to create a commission to investigate the disappearance and suspected massacre. Speaking after meeting with the students' parents, the leftist president-elect vowed to work to unravel the case starting from the day he takes office. 4 years on, the unsolved disappearance of the students from the southern state of Guerrero still haunts Mexico. Argentina clinched an additional $7 billion in funding from the International Monetary Fund in an effort to ease investor concerns over its abilities to pay its debts. IMF Managing Director Christine said that Argentina's central bank had agreed as part of the deal to allow the peso currency to float freely and would only intervene in the foreign exchange market in extreme circumstances. The Argentine currency has shed more than 50% of its value so far this year. Foreign Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, E.P. Shet Grain, reassured External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj of full cooperation in the extradition of Mehul Choksi, a prime accused in the $2 billion Punjab National Bank scam. Mehul Choksi holds the citizenship of Antigua. The issue of his extradition was raised by Sushma Swaraj during the bilateral meeting with the Antiguan Foreign Minister on the sidelines of the 73rd session of the United Nations General Assembly. The United Nations' highest environmental honor has been conferred to 6 laureates called the Outstanding Environmental Change Makers. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and India's Cochin International Airport are among the awardees. PM has been recognized in the policy leadership category for pioneering work in championing the International Solar Alliance and promoting new areas of levels of cooperation on environmental action. French President Emmanuel Macron has also been recognized in the same category.
This is going to display to you. It seems fitting to end with a tree planting ceremony, and we have chosen a neem tree for this special, and it could rise to about 20 to...
The Supreme Court has agreed to live stream and video record court proceedings in India. The court said live streaming of court proceedings will effectuate the public right to know and bring in more transparency in judicial proceedings. The court also noted that necessary rules for balancing rights of public and protecting dignity of litigants will be placed soon by the Apex Court in India. Around 300 people stranded in various parts of Himachal Pradesh, Lahaul and Spiti district have been rescued, and most of the 600 roads of the North Indian state reopened after being blocked following recent snowfall. Around 200 people are still stranded there. 13 stranded people were airlifted to safer places by the Indian Air Force, while the Border Road Organization rescued others. India's Supreme Court is likely to deliver a crucial judgment in the decade-old Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid case. The top court will decide whether the Ismail Farooqi verdict, in which it was ruled that mosque is not an integral part of Islam, should go to a larger constitution bench for consideration. The Indian Supreme Court is likely to deliver its verdict today on the over 150-year-old adultery law that punishes only a man and not a married woman for an affair by treating her as a victim and not as an abettor of the offence. The centre had defended the Victorian law, saying adultery must remain a crime so that the sanctity of marriage can be protected, after a petition called for the law to be scrapped as it does not treat men and women equally. Tens of thousands of worshippers packed Jerusalem's Western Wall Plaza on to receive a blessing from members of Judaism's priestly caste. The ceremony is held during the Jewish holidays of Passover and Sukkot. The Western Wall is a remnant of the compound of the Second Temple that was destroyed in 70 AD. Saudi King Salman inaugurated a high-speed railway linking Mecca and Medina. The Haramin high-speed rail system will transport Muslim pilgrims as well as regular travellers 450 kilometres between the two cities via the Red Sea port of Jeddah in 2 hours. 35 passenger trains capable of travelling at speeds of 300 kilometres per hour will slash the travel time from several hours to 120 minutes. The world's most expensive pair of shoes, worth $17 million, will be launched in the UAE. The luxury footwear, made from diamonds and real gold, was designed and created over a period of 9 months. The high heels are on display at the Burj Al Arab Hotel in Dubai. The luxury footwear was designed and created in Italy and features 236 diamonds together with 2 flawless diamonds of 15 carats each.